Hey everyone, this is a small add-on to the last episode of Let's Talk About Art. In the last episode I talked about the exhibition The Most Dangerous Game that's still running at the HKW in Berlin until the December 10. And what I wanted to say is that I got some comments that I should say how I felt, how my experience was visiting the exhibition. In the last video I talked about the Situationist International and basically I told you that their work was leading to May 1968, which is quite cool, but I didn't talk much about the exhibition. Well, in the end I mentioned that there's this reader of 900 pages. It's part 1, and there will be a part 2 where an index of, or I'm not sure, but I think an index of all artists who were part of the SI will be published, or maybe even an index of artworks. I'm not sure. I think it's rather the artists. So my experience in the exhibition was a good one, but it was also confusing. First of all, and this is the point that I want to make today, is that what I find super interesting is the fact that most of the exhibition consists, it's not the exhibition design in terms of how it looks, but it's more like the medium of an exhibition, like what is presented and how. And in this case, it's many books in vitrines. And it's not possible to take the book and look inside, you just see the cover of the book. And this at first is, of course, it's really hard because you have no idea of the actual ideas and thoughts and texts that are in the books. You just see the cover and you have to combine what you know or what you guess or whatever to get an idea of what you're looking at. So it took me quite a while to understand that the books in the Most Dangerous Game exhibition are actually not put together by the curators, but like the whole collection of books is a collection of books that was planned to be put together much earlier by Guy Debord. And well, it's like in this booklet, which is much smaller obviously than the almost 1000 page booklet, it's let me see. Well, this is the plan of the exhibition, and all the numbers are vitrines with books inside. You see, and then here in the back there's the artworks, and then here like also the walls are full of images basically and archival material. So what I wanted to say is that all the books in the first part, like here in this part, they are all from the Bibliothek Situationist de Silkeborg, and this is those are all books that were put together by Guy Debord or Asger Jorn. Oh yeah, it's put together by Asger Jorn, the Danish painter and Situationist. He wanted to put together all these books to show the source material basically of where the Situationists have been, the fundamental material, that the fundament of the foundation of the Situationists. And in this case it's different groups. It's the group Spur, SPUR, then it's the group of Cobra, the Lettrist movement, and the Movimento Internazionale per una Bauhaus Imaginista, and so this is it, you know. It's like, it's not like the curators decided that they will just like collect all these books to tell you something about situationism. It's like it's a whole library that is presented. That makes so much more sense if you understand it. So it's basically one big piece that you can go into, but like as soon as you understand this, like you can just leave it behind and go on. So I mean, in this book there are the chapters explained. So this is the first chapter, is the La Bibliothèque Situationniste de Silkeborg. Silkeborg is a place in Denmark where also the Jorn Museum is located. And the second chapter, it's called Bildkontrolle. In English it's image control. And there it's this is a chapter, I think it's on this wall, like on the back side of the first wall, like here you come in. It's about the image material that exists from May 1968, which is on the one side from the police and on the other side from the protesters. And then it's a really quick comment. I mean, so I mean, just to speak about the experience, you know, it's like the one point that I wanted to make. Well, let's just go through the chapters. Okay, the second one is detournement versus exploitation, and there it's like, it's lots of like also erotic books that like members of the Situationist or the lettrist movement were writing, and this is also has also something to do with the liberation of sexuality that took place in 1968. And one part that I find particularly interesting is the commodification of youth, and in this case it's a reference to to a lettrist, to a member of the lettrists, and it's a question of how, like, I mean, it basically deals with how the capitalism took over the idea of the resistance. That's, I think, how we can put it. Yeah, and then the last part, I think, no, it's two more. It's like one, it says against the exhibition, which is also really interesting because the Situationists, they didn't want to make exhibitions. They decided that it's not possible to make exhibitions for them because their ideas, they were basically criticizing the institutions. And then there's one more, and I think this is the collection of artworks. It's called the Archive of the Last Images. Yeah, this is some artworks, also some hidden artworks. It's a strange cooperation with the Petze Gallery, I think, in New York. Also, there was a show in Hamburg from Asger Jorn, where also one artist from Petze Gallery, Charlene van Heil, was presented really big. So here also we have some art market interests. But let me go back to the books presented in vitrines, because the thing is that to understand what you're looking at, you have to use the reader, and in the reader, you have, like, every book has a number, and you have to go into the reader and look, and then this is where you get information about the books you're looking at, and it's the same here. What I find so interesting about it is the fact that it was the case in another exhibition it was the case in another the exhibition Neolithische Kindheit. I mentioned it in a video before. It was running from April to July, and it was co-curated by Anselm Franke, who's also the head of the art department of the HKW, and created many shows. This was the first show I saw from him, and here again we have this like these numbers that explain the books that were presented in vitrines. I mean, when I was in the Dangerous Game exhibition, first of all, because like the Neolithische Kindheit is quite like it's less pop, I would say, the topic. It's about the 1930s and the archive of Einstein, I think. No, not Einstein, but Yes, Carl Einstein. It's about art history and stuff, and this one is more pop, I would say. And what I thought is, why do we look at old books? Why do we look at printed matter? Is this interesting? And then I realized that it's the first time that I look at printed matter in such a way, and just wanted to point that out. What do you think? Leave a comment, leave a like, and see you soon. And it's time again for Let's Talk About Art.